Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Jim and Rob Overanalyze Movies. The sometimes live, sometimes like now, live to tape, video podcast where people are looking for a deeper conversation about the films we watch today. And today we just got out of course, in the Denny's, in our second location.
Yes.
Just got out of Good Luck.
Have fun.
And don't die.
Okay. Yay, we got it right. GL.
U.S. Germany co-production, directed by Gore Verbinski. Mm-hmm. Here's the log line, Jim. A man from the future arrives at an LA diner to convince the precise combination of disgruntled patrons to join him on a one-night quest. A quest, Jim, to save the world from a rogue AI, an artificial intelligence entity. Of course, it's sci-fi, but I would even say it's a comedy. A sci-fi comedy is what it's billed as, but I would also even go so far as to say horror as well, like some horror elements.
Into the horror element, yeah.
It was also done with 20 million of today's dollars. Jim, why don't you give us your spoiler-free take on the film? Sure. Then we'll go into a spoiler zone, and then we'll do our see it or skip it.
Yeah, this is a kind of I can say wacky, kind of spaghetti against the wall in the best sense of the term. See what sticks. There's a lot going on here, and frankly, we've just seen it. I probably would need a day to digest it normally, but yeah, it's an interesting thing. I've heard certain reviews say that it's a little bit derivative of other things. Other people loved it. So I think it's going to be a love it or hate it kind of thing. But I thought it was quite engaging. I didn't know exactly where it was going. Didn't know how it would end, which is always the best option. And it's got a lot of Sam Rockwell, so if you like him. And Haley Louise Richardson also has really grown on me in the last few years.
Yeah.
She's great at being exasperated. Like that kind of like, kind of role. And
she's got a nice anger energy.
Yes,
like without it being, it's your problem.
Yeah. Like, earned anger. Yeah. So yeah, it's
Juno Temple had a nice like turn, for those who might say more remember her most recent big role, which would have been Keeley in Ted Lasso, 3 seasons of Ted Lasso. This is a different delivery, but a solid one.
Yeah,
you're buying her as well.
Absolutely.
For me, Jim, I gotta admit, I was like, does Gore still have it? Even before we walked into the theater, I'm like, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Everything Everywhere All at Once. The Terminator, maybe. Like it is a guy from the future coming into
what
the
was
past.
The first one you said?
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, another future coming back. Craziness, right?
Groundhog Day.
A little bit of Groundhog Day, The Matrix.
Yeah.
Also, though, a maligned film that came out last year, Electric State, which was that Amazon production with, and it's like, oh, this is how you do that, not the way they did it. Yeah. For me, before we get into the spoiler zone of it all, I gotta admit, I was like, well, it looks fun. I think I'll have a fun night, but I wasn't expecting much more than that, and I was pleasantly surprised. It exceeded my expectations. More than a great night at the movies, it's like, oh, there's some meat on the bones. There's some stuff to think about. Yeah, you're right. Like a week from now, I'll still be kind of going, wait a second, which, as I said, is just a great way to watch a movie. Unlike, well, at least my feelings on Frankenstein. Here, I'm like, Gore has something to say, and it's not as easy as AI bad or these kids are on their phones too much, although there's some of that. All right, editing Rob, cue the spoiler zone graphic. Okay, Jim, we're in the spoiler zone now. Why do you think filmmakers made this movie and the way they did it?
There's a line about halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way through, where the man from the future, actually, the actual character's name, says, "Look around. Things are going, we're all weird with one another. Things are getting shitty. Basically, things need a bit of a reset." And I think, you can specify. I mean, people have been talking about the irony of interconnectedness via technology and loneliness sort of coexisting at the same time. Radiohead was singing about it in the 90s with OK Computer. But so that hasn't changed much. And yeah, it's not just AI bad, but it's sort of the way things are going, right?
Yeah.
And the sort of the lack of communication between people. That might be
alienation.
Alienation. It might be more of an us problem than just a this problem. So as I say with my phone in front of me. But yeah, so it's not just
the notes.
Yes, yeah. Handwriting. What planet do you come from? So it's not just the technology, but it's the people using it too.
For me, there's a couple neat things he's doing here, and so there are layers to this film. Of course, there is still a quest. It needs, and this is a quest movie.
Mm-hmm.
They are on a quest, and you need, of course, a quester. You need a reason. Yep. You need a place you're going. You need the real place you're going, because it's never about the first place you're going. Yeah. There's something bigger going on there. But that also it is, and multiple times he says to camera, but not breaking the fourth wall. It's like they say you're going to be on an adventure, and it's going to have stakes, and he's describing a story, like literally how a story goes, and it'll be satisfying at the end, which is.
I think he's talking about the seduction of AI.
I think he's but it's also a meta commentary on the experience of video games. Yes. It is we're in a video game there. But also, that's what a movie does.
Yes, yeah.
There's that. And I thought that was really cool. The AI is bad guy, and the kids on the phone, and we're all just on the phone too much. The lefty in me, the Marxist in me, that's like the recycling ad that we saw before the thing, basically blaming us for the environmental problem. You just need to recycle. And it's like, no, that's large corporations externalizing the environmental damage onto their customers. I know, who would have thunk it?
Beverage companies?
Well, in the same thing, that I think is kind of going on here. You people, like the same people who are making money off of selling us the technology, you people are spending too much time on your phones. This is a pimp lecturing the Johns on the importance of fidelity and committed monogamous relationships, And so the other thing that I thought was neat, but that I would criticize is this idea of the big bad. The thing they're on the quest to defeat is this the singularity, the general, the artificial general intelligence, and that is like there's two sides of this. The pro AI coin. It's it's gonna happen. It's inevitable, and we just have to have the right safety protocols because otherwise we'll want to kill us all. Or the other fantasy where it's it'll be saving lives and everything. And we just 2 days ago, Sam Altman, OpenAI guy, is being quoted saying, well, human beings use a lot of water and energy to train themselves. It's like, you terrible human being.
It's called life, dude.
That you kept saying that this will make our lives better. It doesn't sound like you're now saying that. You're basically saying, well, I don't know, who's more efficient, my machine or you lazy human? And I think that's what's cool about this movie, what elevates it for what's really a February release.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Did you notice the lower budget? You mentioned some things when we were sitting there watching the credits. It is ostensibly set in LA, but all shot, or a lot of it was shot in South Africa.
South Africa, I think. And kind of in a grotty neighborhood, which
a lot of back lanes, though. A lot of
lanes,
interiors, suburbs,
parking lots, parking garages, rather. Is there a mall at one point, like a disused mall or something? But those kinds of spaces, a lot of tight shots, not a lot of like no drone shots of the guys, walking down the street with the towers of LA behind them.
There are a couple of cars, but
it's very close focus on a lot of, and when they're, usually it takes place in some suburban neighborhood or some grotty downtown back alley or something like that. So there's that. I mean,
it's like an LA noir thing, you could say.
Very focused. And it's almost it feels like any place, except for that Norm's Diner, not unlike the one we're currently in. The Norm style.
But also not the same.
Yeah. Like your Pulp Fiction diner, your vaguely 50s feeling kind of place.
Were you, like I was saying, I was like pleasantly surprised. And now I'm like, you'd mentioned you'd taken your kids to see Rango when it came out.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, now I'm like, I kind of feel bad that I didn't see Rango, because I was really kind of concerned that it's like, okay, Gore is looking at the end of his career. He's not young anymore. Will this $20 million budget, when I think my favorite film of his is still Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one, I'm like, what about you? Were your expectations exceeded because they were already low, or?
I'd taken a look at some of his filmography earlier today.
He did The Ring, the adaptation of The Ring.
Yeah. But Ring, he did The Ring and Rango, which is kind of interesting. His output seems to be this and over here, and a little horror and a little comedy and a little, adventure and some animation. So I don't know that I would ascribe any one style to, would have ascribed any one style to him. He's not like an auteur kind of filmmaker. But I thought probably knows how to handle a decent sequence of some sort. So I didn't really have any particular expectations.
One of the things I was wondering about is, will it have anything interesting to say about AI? Do you think it did?
I mean, there's a lot out there right now, and get back to me in about 5 years about that. It may sound like a cheap way out, but I think this kind of movie is one of those ones that people appreciate more over time. Like, not a lot of people have seen it in the theater, but it might be one of those ones that sort of picks up on streaming or something. And then we'll see how accurate it was.
Well, for me, I don't think it's saying anything interesting about AI itself.
Okay.
It's generative AI will be out to kill us. But on its way there, it does talk about art as distraction.
Yes.
And again, a narrative, an adventure. We'll go on an adventure. We'll have meaningful stakes, interesting people, a colorful characters, a satisfying end. As we're going through this thing, that by the end of it, it's like, I'm in a video game. I'm watching a video game, a really well constructed video game where they have these moments, and then there's like little cut scenes that sort of give some background on some of the characters, and you're like, who am I playing here?
Yeah.
And I think that's more interesting. The AI is going to get us. Well, right or not, it's not like it's saying something interesting about AI.
Yeah.
And that I was kind of like, I doubt it will be. But everything else up to that, this is one of the things that's so surprising about the film for me, is like, oh, but that's neat. That's a neat idea. And sometimes they're like, Sam Rockwell's literally saying it. Haley Lou Richardson's character, she is allergic to Wi-Fi and cell phones and technology, and they're actually talking about, well, will she be able to interact with the world then? She won't have any friends. Will she find love? And that alone, it's a weird sort of, okay, I think that's lame that she's allergic. But then when the parents are talking about it with the doctor, and it's like, oh, Jesus.
Well, it also leads into her love interest, which is interesting. And she overhears a pizza delivery guy, guy saying, "You use a map?" He goes, "Yeah, I don't. I'm not a cell phone guy." And she kind of goes, she's immediately in love, which was sort of a sweet moment.
And then when they break up,
Yeah.
when he says, "Yeah, I'm going to go live in the Matrix,"
Yeah.
it hits I felt
It's
for
a
her.
betrayal.
You feel for her. And even the "don't go" and that, it is the end of a relationship. And because we're so into her as a character, you feel this rejection, this heartbreak.
Bad choice, dude.
Yeah, terrible choice. Yeah, this movie's got way more going for it.
Yeah.
Deserves your attention. I guess that kind of leads me to our usual question. Jim, good luck. Have fun. Don't dump. See it or skip it.
Yeah, see it.
If you can't tell by now, it's a hard see it for me too. If you can't see it in the theater, that's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, it won't kill the experience either. Jim's right. It's pretty tightly shot. It's efficiently shot, but at no time I never felt like it looked cheap.
No.
But after a while you kind of know, okay, this is how they're stretching that 20 mil.
Yeah.
Which sounds ridiculous. That's a lot of money.
There's no outdoor shots in an indoor studio.
Yeah.
It's not Gilligan's Island or anything.
All right. Well, on that note, thanks so much for watching. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring-a-ding that bell.
I don't want to disturb the other diners. See ya. Oh, it's plastic. It doesn't even make a bell sound.